Tonight, disturbing video of a shark stabbing at Caloundra. A tourist's close call with a landslide. Renewed pleas to put a blanket ban on button batteries. And more international migrants calling the coast home.
Live from the Sunshine Coast, this is 7 News with Joanne Desmond.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. A disturbing video has been shared online showing the moment a shark was stabbed and killed after getting caught in a drumline near Caloundra. The Department of Agriculture and Fisheries claims it was a dangerous breed, but its actions have angered marine activists.
This 2.8-metre tiger shark was trapped in a drumline off Kings Beach in Caloundra on December 20. Unaware of his fate, a contractor of the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries was quick to grab hold of the animal, stabbing and killing it.
That shark was stabbed in the head at least 5 times over more than a minute.
As hard as it is for us to watch, this is something that happens every single time a contractor finds one of 7 target species hooked on a drumline in Queensland's shark control program.
Activists say it's poor treatment.
The way that shark was dealt with was horrific.
And the issue goes deeper.
It's a public safety concern. If this amount of blood and viscera is being released into the water.
Multiple groups have been lobbying for non-lethal deterrent methods to be used instead of the current control programs to manage aggressive sharks.
Education, drone surveillance, personal shark deterrence, and we need to accept new technology that is more effective at reducing that risk.
But in a statement, the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries says tiger sharks are considered dangerous and that it was euthanized in accordance with the Shark Control Program protocols and taken out to sea for disposal. Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
A teenager has shared the terrifying moment she and her friends narrowly avoided a large landslide at Rainbow Beach yesterday. Locals say it's the biggest slip they've seen in years, and tonight we can show you exclusive vision of the moment it crumbled onto the shore.
Tourists watch in shock as a sand dune unexpectedly collapses.
Oh my God, no way!
It's one of the largest landslides Rainbow Beach has seen in years.
Look, it's the biggest one I've seen, and a lot of people sort of saying the same, so it's a significant landslide.
The mammoth dune came crashing down just before 4 p.m. yesterday. Thankfully, no cars were caught in the rubble.
We're just driving along and then you see it and you're like, holy! We just sort of like slammed on the brakes and yeah, like baffled. I jumped out of the car, tried to look at it, but yeah.
19-year-old Molly Paik filmed the entire ordeal. The Toowoomba teenager says the car she was in pulled over to give way to oncoming traffic moments before the landslide.
If we hadn't have waited for them, we would have been like directly in front of the landslide or there at the time. So pretty scary to think if we hadn't have had to wait for the cars, where we would be today.
Inspector Brad Inskip says it's extremely lucky no one was caught under the sand.
We've got no indication at all at this stage that there's anyone was injured, thank God.
Police say a section of the beach will remain closed while council clear the beach.
It's blocked between Rainbow Beach and Double Island Point, and there's a good chance it will remain closed over the weekends.
Trent Neese, 7 News.
Debris continues to wash up at the Malabar Spit following New Year's Eve celebrations. Locals have been picking up rubbish believed to be left behind by fireworks. Earlier this week, council said it was probably from illegal fireworks, but volunteers say the location of the debris suggests otherwise.
There was nobody out here. This was all cordoned off. Nobody could get in these areas, let alone fire a popper or whatever.
Sunshine Coast Council says investigations are continuing, including discussions with the official New Year's Eve pyrotechnic contractor. Free toys handed out at shopping centres over Christmas are among dozens of products failing to comply with safety standards. The alarming number of recalls has sparked renewed pleas for even tougher laws to crack down on button batteries.
These shiny button batteries are a small circular death trap for any child who ingests them, a lesson Andrea Shoesmith learnt the hard way. She lost her 4-year-old daughter Summer after she swallowed one in 2015.
Which is unimaginable pain. That doesn't go. It doesn't go.
Since then, 2 other young girls in Australia have also met the same fate. So in 2022, new safety standards were imposed by the government to prevent more deaths from button batteries. 132 products have been recalled since the new rules came into effect, including toys like the Super Spy HQ sold at Big W and light-up sensory glow tubes given out at some Santa photo sets in shopping centres at Christmas.
We have issued infringement notices totalling more than $500,000 to 6 different suppliers.
But Andrea says that's not enough. She wants button batteries banned altogether.
You can absolutely expect that if there are further serious incidents of non-compliance, that we will take action and potentially more serious action than has already been taken in the past.
Be smart and make the decision not to buy anything with a button battery in it, unless you want to suffer the same fate.
Tiani Reid, 7 News.
The coast's population is on the rise, with a 30% climb over the last 10 years, largely due to international migration. According to a report from the state government, the region has welcomed an average of 8,600 people per year, growing to a total of 413,000 in 2022.
We need more houses, we need more big houses, we need more small houses, we need more apartments, townhouses, everything. We just haven't been able to build enough to keep up with demand.
The Sunshine Coast is expected to be home to more than 500,000 residents by 2041. The state opposition is demanding the release of a review into a disastrous explosion at one of Queensland's major power stations. The LNP wants to know whether the incident has impacted power bills 2 years on.
It caused catastrophic damage and led to mass blackouts. More than 2 years later, Queenslanders are still in the dark about an explosion at the Callide Power Station.
955 days on and still nothing.
A forensic engineer, Dr. Sean Brady, was engaged to investigate the incident, but his review still hasn't been delivered.
There will be a reason why that report has been delayed. I hope that the report shows, if anything, that the coal fire stations need to be operated safely and that they're all old and due to be replaced.
What is it about this government and not wanting to let the sun shine in?
The acting Energy Minister says the independent Brady review is just that, independent. This means neither the Energy Minister nor anyone within the Miles government has any influence on the release of this critical work.
There are so many questions that need to be answered.
One of them, what has the fallout of the explosion meant for power bills statewide? Queensland's wholesale electricity prices were among the highest in the country last year.
Why should Queenslanders pay an extra 25% a year in electricity because the government have failed to acknowledge that they haven't maintained their electricity assets?
Jade Richards, 7 News.
Nominations are now open to vote for Queensland's top nurses and midwives. The awards are designed to recognise excellence in positive practice, early career, First Nations staff and professional leadership. Head to the Queensland Nurse and Midwives Union website to vote. Nominations close on March 15. Ahead tonight in 7 News, the cat whisperer who saved an abandoned pet from pythons. And a post-Christmas tourism boom for local businesses. Thanks for joining us here on 7. Local businesses are finally reaping the rewards of the school holidays after wet weather put a dampener on New Year plans. Most accommodation providers are busy and beaches are packed with tourists soaking up the sun.
It's usually the busiest time of the year for tourism businesses on the coast as people make the most of the Christmas and New Year break.
A lot of our caravan parks were essentially full and our hotels were at near capacity. So a lot of them with more than 90% occupancy over that period.
But the rain created a slow start for many.
We were really hoping that it would get a lot busier than it was. Straight after New Year's, like coming into New Year's, probably 30th to like the 2nd of January, it started to pick up incredibly.
And now as the sun's shining again, visitors are ready to get out and explore.
We've been here for 3 weeks. We've got quite a large family, so there's, 13 grandkids?
We've been going to the beach mostly.
It's too hot. I spent about 3 hours in the water. It was beautiful.
Artigiano Gelato is offering a sweet treat to those looking to beat the heat.
So we do make our own gelato here. It does put a bit more pressure because we need to keep it stocked up. We also have a shop at Maroochydore, but it's gelato and it's perfect weather for it.
Visit Sunshine Coast says overall visitor numbers are on par with previous years, and this busy period is expected to continue until school returns at the end of January. Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
New data has revealed there were a record number of car sales last year. The Federal Chamber of Automotive Industry says more than 1.2 million vehicles were purchased across the country. Brands like Toyota and Ford were favourites, and the demand for electric vehicles also increased by more than 8%.
If you have a look worldwide, that's sort of consistent with many other countries.
Experts say if the government wants EV sales to grow even more, subsidies must be provided. An abandoned cat has finally found some love after she was dumped in python territory. A cat whisperer came to Mimi's rescue, but not before her litter of kittens disappeared, possibly falling victim to snakes.
This fragile cat is very quiet. She's had a tough life and she's only 6 months old. Mimi was abandoned with her kittens and unable to save them when they were dumped in python territory.
No animal asks for a life like that. They don't do this to themselves and they get upset. And it's heartbreaking.
Kelsey Hobson is a first-time foster carer and it seems a cat whisperer, unable to resist Mimi's charm. The cat found Kelsey and kept returning to her house for food.
She was incredibly skinny. As you can imagine, she didn't have a good food source. She was feeding a litter.
After 6 weeks, the pair have now formed a close bond.
She will come up, she'll bump my hand, she'll put her chest here and then rub herself right across and flop onto my arm.
But there are hundreds more cats that are being abandoned, and right now fewer people are adopting.
Too many people are being irresponsible. So everyone gets their rate bills in January, so money's tight. Cost of living's tight for all of us as it is.
Luckily for this Russian blue, she's off to a new home with Dana and her family.
I just wanted her off the street.
Michaela Fanto, 7 News.
Oh, Mimi's looking very comfortable. I'm sure she'll be great in her new home. Let's have a look at sport now, Luke. And the National Road Championships are underway in Ballarat.
Yeah, it's always a big event, Joe. The nation's best cyclists are in action, including our own ARA Skip Capital Sunshine Coast crew, and they've already had success. We'll have more on that next. Plus, Landsborough's Jet and Hunter Lawrence prepare for their Anaheim showdown. And the coast continues to show why it's a breeding ground for future rugby league stars. And welcome back to 7 News. Well, the coast has long been a breeding ground for rugby league players wanting to make the step into the Q Cup. And then, of course, the NRL and some of those currently on contracts have been getting together over the holidays to show others what can be achieved.
Sam Elvey has been discovering talent from different parts of the country and bringing them right here to the Sunshine Coast.
Cairns, Gympie, Darwin, Norfolk Island, just to bring them down here and put them through schooling and give them probably a little bit something. Footy's like a carrot from, footy's just a bonus.
Caloundra High has also lent a hand with most of this group now graduated, and some have even signed future NRL deals.
We normally catch up once a month with these kids and do some either strength and conditioning or skill-based drills.
Gympie's Blaine Watson is on track to one day be a Canberra Raider. He's also part of the Falcons' Mel Meninga setup.
I guess every works on a few different things than every other coach. He knows his stuff.
Others are earning credit in the Q Cup.
He's helped tremendously. He's helped me add new things to my game and improve stuff in my game.
One of the biggest success stories from the program in recent years, though, is current North Queensland Cowboys back Robert Derby.
He made his debut last year for the Cowboys as well, so that's hell rewarding for us. And for me, that's why I love doing what I do. Where he was when he first came down and where he is now, not just as a football player, more as a man, a young man.
Derby is locked in a battle in Townsville to replace Peter Hiku in the starting centre spot.
Well, ARA Skip Capital Sunshine Coast rider Blake Agnoletto is an Australian champion after taking out the men's under-23 criterium At the Road Nationals this afternoon, his teammates Declan Trezise and Oliver Bledden, they finished inside the top 10. Now, Blake wasn't able to top the podium in the under-23 time trial, though, where he finished 6th, that race going to Team Bridgelane rider Jackson Medway. Fellow Uni SC-based cyclist Alice Simpson was 9th in the women's time trial, but she finished 1st overall in the under-23 category.
I had to ride into it the first lap. I didn't feel amazing, but riding into it worked well for me.
The Nationals wrap up on Sunday. And Landsborough's Lawrence brothers will get their 2024 Supercross seasons underway this weekend in California. Jet heads into the Anaheim opener as the previous winner and carries plenty of momentum into the new calendar, last year winning the inaugural Super Motocross World Championship and the AMA Pro Motocross 450 Championship. Younger brother Hunter is also coming off his best season in the 250cc. Well, Queensland's ladies team remains unbeaten from their 4 T20 matches at the Australian Country Cricket Championships in Newcastle. Scorchers pair Michaela Wrigley and Tara Staines featured in both games again today in what was another double-header for the Queenslanders, defeating New South Wales by 35 runs and then South Australia by just 4 this afternoon. In the men's, Scorcher Luke McInnes featured in today's loss to WA, but the Maroons did bounce back in their second T20 to beat the ACT by 63 runs. And racing's underway at Corbell Park for another twilight meeting, and here now with his best bets for the remaining races and also Sunday's meeting, it's Chris Nelson.
Thanks, Luke. 2 meetings across the weekend at Corbell Park. We kick off tonight. We're already underway tonight, and we've only got a small meeting on Sunday afternoon with the 6 races. Let's find some winners tonight and one for Sunday. Now, race 2 tonight jumps at 6:38, so get your skates on. Number 1, Sneak Preview, was a dominant winner at Eagle Farm last start. This is an easier race, and he rises only minimally at the weights. I think he'll be winning again. Race 6, number 5, Lady Ladar resumes, and she's got a good fresh record. 1,400 metres first up, looks very suitable for her. I think she can run home right over the top of them late. And race 7, number 7, Ruby Chicks, another one who resumes from a break. She's won 2 of 3 first up, and she went to the line under a stranglehold when she finished just out of the placings in a recent trial here. And on Sunday, race 4, number 4, Vindicta, debutante, looked very good winning a recent trial at Deagon, just stormed by the opposition and won with plenty of gas in the tank. I think she can make a winning debut. That's my lot for this week. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week. It's back to you, Luke.
Plenty happening this Friday, but that is the night in sport, Joe.
Great. Thanks for that, Luke. Well, stay with us. After the break, Rosanna joins us and she'll have all the weekend weather details, while Robbie Sherwell has our surf report.
Hello, Rosanna Natoli with tonight's weather. From tropical cyclones, flash flooding and heat waves, it finally seems now we Queenslanders are in for some calmer conditions for the week ahead. Despite it remaining in some regions, that heat wave is easing over the state. Showers are still expected from the weekend onwards though. Temperatures today across the Sunshine Coast region, a range of 23 to 30 degrees at the airport, 31 in Gympie, Nambour's top 30, as well for Glasshouse Country. Now to the satellite loop, nothing much affecting us as you can see. There is though onshore flow producing low cloud about south and northwestern Western Australia, and also cloud with some isolated thunderstorm activity is sitting near the Western Australia and South Australian border through here. Meanwhile, thunderstorms remain in the Northern Territory, coastal waters and far inland Queensland. On today's chart, heat troughs still dominate inland parts of the continent and a ridge extends along the eastern coast of Australia, right in through here. It strengthened today as the high moved east across the Bight. On tomorrow's chart, the high will reach the Tasman Sea and then continue drifting east, and it will expected to weaken early next week. So now the latest from the Bureau. The boating forecast for Sunshine Coast waters, winds are southeasterly at 15 to 20 knots, tending more northeasterly Monday. Still some neap tides around thanks to last night's quarter moon. The low for tomorrow will be near 10 a.m. For the southeast coastal district, partly cloudy for tomorrow, high chance of showers, most likely in the morning and afternoon, a chance of a thunderstorm as well. Maroochydore heading for 27 degrees, which will be pleasant. Same for Caloundra, Maleny 25. Looking ahead for Maroochydore, wet conditions will continue into the working week with showers, so packing a brolly with your work lunch won't be a bad idea. So that is the weather for this Friday night. Now to tonight's gorgeous pic from Kim. Thank you for sending in this beautiful sunrise from Hervey Bay. Now it is over to Robbie for the latest with the Surf Report.
Thanks, Rosanna. Well, the forecast is looking like 15 to 20 knots south-southeasters during the day with the odd stronger gusts, hoping for lighter southerlies in the mornings. Now, the swell forecast is for it to be a solid metre plus tomorrow from the east-southeasterly direction, and on Sunday could even be up around that solid 1.5 metres. Now, if you're out there looking for a wave, that means it's going to be more southerly protected places. We got low tides just after 10 tomorrow, just after 11 on Sunday. We're checking down around Moffat's, southern end of Dickey Beach, Point Cartwright, Alex, The Bluff. Early in the mornings, check the Maroochydore stretch as well as Coolum and the very outside points at Noosa. If you're out there thinking about a swim, all beaches will be open. With the tides going out in inshore gutters, there's plenty of rips up and down our coastline, and over the last few weeks, plenty of rescues have happened. Please stay safe. Only swim between the red and yellow flags. Have a wonderful weekend across the coast beaches. Now it's back to you, Jo.
Great, thanks for that, Robbie. That's all from us for this Friday. Thanks very much for your company. Just a reminder, you can watch a replay of our news on the 7plus app or catch up on our page, 7news.com.au. And from all of us here, have a great weekend. Good night.